All right, we're live, but we still have a few minutes.
Is that HHSC? Runs at the Air Triangle? That's exactly.
Well, good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Look like a happy crowd this morning. We have sign-in sheets going around, I'm sure. Right? Everybody sign in. Make sure it's legible so I can see it, read it, all of that kind of stuff. Everybody brought their book, class. If you don't have your book, you're in the wrong spot. You have to have a book for class. Everybody got a book?
I don't have a book.
You don't have a book?
I've only been there 3 days.
Been here 3 days. Who's your counselor?
It's the new label. The new label.
Okay. Okay. Well, we need to get you a book. Okay. And I'll talk to your counselor here in a second, and we'll make sure that you get a book because it's hard for you to follow along without a book.
This. Should get it on first round. Yeah.
Who else needs a textbook? You've got one? Mr. Thomas has one.
All right, so we're making sure that everybody has a book. If you're at North, and I do know people come in and they sometimes don't get a book right away, but that's not what I want to happen. I want everybody to get a book. So if you are at North today and you don't have a book, then please let your counselor know that you don't have a book, and they will facilitate you getting a book. Okay? So we want that to happen just as soon as that can happen, because we're going through the book, and the book's an important thing. And wherever you are, if you've just started, where do we want you to begin in the book? At the beginning. You start at the beginning. Just start easing through the book, doing what the book tells you to do, and doing all of that stuff. Very good program is encapsulated in the book here. We do some things outside the book in this class, but we want you to continue on in the book. Also, we're probably, when we're teaching out of the book, we're probably going to be far beyond where you are. That's okay. You can do the study with me at that point, but then you go back to where you are in your book, and then you continue going that way. Now, this morning, we're going to be looking at page 21, and your counselor is going to bring you a book here in a moment. And just find page 21. Now, a lot of the times, these books that we have, such as mine is an older one. I've had it for a while, but it doesn't have a page number on it. Now, some of the newer ones that we get, they do have pages.
There you go.
So they do have page numbers. But, thank you, ladies. But if it doesn't have a page number on yours, that's okay. Go to 20 and then go one more, right? And you'll be on page 21. And you can tell what it looks like. It shows all of the 4 main things that we are looking at in this program. This program has 4 main components to it. If you also look, it has 5 different spots on that main component. So you go across and it tells you what we're doing that day. So today is Thursday, right? Week went a little quick because Monday was a little weird, so it's okay. Today we're talking about this week, we're kind of looking at physical health. And what physical health, what we're going to do, how that plays into our recovery. Here's one thing. How many people here have ever felt bad? You ever felt bad in your life? Yeah, of course. If you've been alive more than 3 or 4 minutes, you probably felt bad at some time. Doesn't mean that you have a horrible, terrible, nasty, stupid disease, but you feel bad. I've gotten up some mornings and I just felt bad. This morning I feel really good. Oh, praise God. I feel well. So that's a good thing. But you do know that you can do better when you feel well than when you don't, right? You can pay better attention in class and you can do things better and all of that kind of stuff. So who came to group without their book? See, when I'm up here, I can see everybody, and I know that at least one person came to group without their book.
I just got my book.
Yeah, you just got your book. So where's your book? Where's your book? All right, you got to have your book. Wait, it don't do you any good to have it on the back, though. You got to have it. All right, so here's what we're going to look at this morning. And a lot of the time, look, we don't even look in the book except for this little blurb that we look at this morning, right? So what's the purpose of bringing your book with you to group every time you come to group? If we're not going through it, what's the purpose? None at all, the man said. And that's sometimes how it's going to feel, like there's no purpose at all. But the purpose is to get you connected to this book. I've been in a whole bunch of different things. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've given people a lot of time, books and all of that kind of stuff, and 2 or 3 days later, they have no idea where that book is. They're not following that program, and that book is off somewhere because that's the way we do things. All right, we'll take that book away from here, whatever that program is, we'll take it back to our room, we'll stick it in a drawer. I've got so many programs at my home that they're just everywhere. And they're just put up and nothing. So what I want to do is make sure that I'm still connected to my book. Right? Every process group, every group that I go to, I got my book. And so it's there with me. So it's this having it in group is just to show you're connected to your book. Okay? So today is Thursday. So we went through this whole thing about getting ourselves to a place where we're going to take some action. We're going to do something. And I've told you guys, and I know y'all don't care, but I've told you 14 times probably, and maybe more than that. In October, my wife and I are going on a little glamping trip. We got a 30-foot travel trailer. We're going to pull that thing to 5 or 6 different state parks and stay in state parks and just have a good time, I'm hoping. And I've also told you my wife has a few little medical issues. So heading out, she's getting up every day and she's walking back and forth, and she's gotten up to where she's doing that 8 different times, doing 8 times. So that's a big deal for her because she's not very mobile and all of that kind of stuff. And she's gotten, to be able to move. It wears her out and it's made her sore and all of that kind of stuff. But that's good for her, right? It's going to help her enjoy the trip a little bit more. And if we do some type of exercise, no matter what type of exercise it is, I went out there and looked, and I saw that you guys have a little curl bar out there that's got about 50 pounds on it. And that has, the bar itself weighs about 2 pounds, so that's about 52 pounds out there. Okay, that's something, right? And we need to exercise a little. Yeah, whatever we can do. If it's just getting up and walking around the room a little bit, just getting up, walking around outside, whatever it is going to make you feel better physically. It'll make you feel better mentally. It'll make you feel better about yourself. All right? Yes, sir.
I have one question.
Okay, just one.
When you work out, do you have a pool?
Do they have a pool? They do. I don't utilize it, but they do.
But that'd be good for your wife.
It would. It would.
Water aerobics. Yeah. Good. She could just walk around.
Yeah, it would be great. But I cannot talk her into going over there. Look, our insurance covers this free, but she will not go. And one of the reasons is, I come over here and hang out with you guys for a while, so I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And when I go work out, I've got to be at my gym over there at 5:30. So I'm over there at 5:30. She sleeps till about 9 o'clock. So, that's an issue for her. She still could go over there, but the gym's about 20 miles from the house. There's always, and y'all remember this, and get a hold of this, it'll help us in our recovery efforts. There's always a good excuse for bad behavior. There's always a good excuse for bad behavior. I forgot my book. I don't know where my book is. I don't intend to follow. There's always a good excuse for bad behavior. So, my wife, it's too far to drive. And I don't want to go over there because I'm out of shape, and I don't want to be embarrassed in front of those other people. So there's always a good excuse for it. So down through the week, we've talked about where all of our plans were and everything. My physical condition is very poor. I've started thinking about maybe doing something. I've started preparing to do something. And then today we're at that place where we're actually taking action. I'm going to do something. You've already begun taking steps to improve your physical health, but you've not yet practiced consistently or gained a state of maintenance. What does that mean?
That's to the point where you can just...
Yeah.
Okay, it's like upkeep.
Yeah, I hadn't got there where I'm doing it every day. Everybody in here is sneezing and whooping and all that kind of stuff. I don't go to the gym every day. I go to the gym 3 times a week. I'll be there tomorrow morning. I went Wednesday, and I'll be there tomorrow morning. So I go 3 times a week. However, I exercise my stomach every day. Every day, so I do leg lifts and I do all that kind of stuff. So I've gotten to that place of maintenance with my core, with my stomach and all of that kind of stuff. I haven't gotten there with some other things. One of the things that I really detest is working my legs. I don't like doing that. And so that's problematic for me. So tomorrow we'll be at the maintenance stage. So if you can see the painting behind me, I'm sure some of you want to buy that, but it's not for sale. It's not for sale. Later on, we may come up with some prints, and you can buy the prints. And I know you can't see it very well over at North, but this is a gym, right? This looks just like the gym I go to over here. They got those little 50-pound pots, right? They have those things from 10 pounds up to about 70 pounds. Little, whatever they call them. You pick them up, carry them around, throw them over your arm, do all of that kind of crazy mess with it. What is this? Barbell. What did you say it was? What did you say it was?
I thought you were still talking about kettle.
No, you thought it was cannabis?
Kettlebells.
Oh,
Yeah.
the bell. No. This is a barbell. Okay, that's in there. What do you think that might be? Pull-up bar. A pull-up bar. That's one of the hardest things to do. I was at a gym one time that had a pull-up assistant bar where you could stand on it and it would help you do that. You know, which kind of defeating the purpose, but you know, yeah, I did 1,000 of them. You know, I mean, it's pushing me up and down. And that's great. And so this is where most of us are. What is this guy? He's skinny as a rail. Yeah, there ain't no muscle on him anywhere on his body. But he's over. He don't look very happy. He's standing on a box and he's ready to go. That means he's done something. What did he do? He got there. He went to the gym and he did what?
Is that a podium?
Yeah, it's on the. No, this is just a box. And there's some boxes where I go. You can step up on them. So yeah. Yeah, so he's at least done one step up, right? One. He's just done. He may have only done one, but he's at least done one. Yeah, he's beginning to make some kind of effort. You can tell by the look on his face, he's not really happy about his progress at this point, right? And looking the way he looks, I wouldn't be happy with my progress either. You know, he looks pretty bad. And I've been in the gym with people who look just about like that. And, you know, they'll try to hide and do all this kind of stuff because you got guys there that are looking pretty good. And what I try to tell those guys is, look, that guy over there that looks pretty good, he started looking, when he came, he started looking, he was like you. He didn't start looking like that for, you know, months and months and months and months. So there's nothing, no matter where you are physically, there's no shame in it, right? You don't have to worry about that. If you're fat, if you're gawky, if you're skinny as a rail, go to the gym anyway. Everybody else started exactly where you are, right? They started exactly at zero, and they got to where they are today because they started at that 0 point. Now we're going to look at some of the things that we don't understand a lot of the times. And look, when I say stuff like that, I want you to know that I'm saying that in ignorance. You know what that means? I say a lot of us don't know these things, but there's probably people in the audience that do know. You know, there's always that outlier that there's somebody there that already knows that. I've had people in my groups that knew more about what I was teaching than I did. And they did teach me. And I appreciate that. So if you know more about it than I do, then teach me. And there's some people in the group that don't really know it, but they will try to teach me anyway. Yeah, and that's okay too, right, Darnell? I didn't mean that was who you were. I just wanted your opinion.
I'm still waiting on my number.
All right, look, research has shown us a lot of good things about exercise. It is one of the most important things that you can do. Nobody does enough exercise. So we need to be exercising. Wherever we are, we need to pick up and do something else. We need to do a little more than what we're doing right now. Even if you're exercising now. And I do know that some people in this room, and I know some of the ladies at North, I see you exercise. I watch as you're walking and all of that stuff, and I'm really gratified, about that. If I want to stay in my recovery really well, one of the things I need to do is begin an exercise program. Is that going to guarantee me to not relapse? Absolutely not. But it's going to help. And if I can do something that's going to help me stay in my recovery by 2 or 3%, is it worth doing?
Yes.
Absolutely. If I actually want to stay in my recovery. I do know a lot of people come through a place like this, they have no plan to stay in recovery. But if you really plan to stay in recovery, getting myself in shape is going to help me. It goes a lot further than just feeling better. But I will guarantee you that feeling better increases your chance of staying in your recovery by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, right? So we need to get something started. So research has shown that people who exercise regularly tend to be more resistant to a whole lot of even mental illnesses. And we need to get a hold of that. Physically, it's helping us, but mentally as well. Can we use some help with mental illnesses? Yes, we can. I know that in my own self, I need some help in that area, right? Anybody ever have any little bit of depression come upon you? Yeah, I have that. Sometimes I'm aggravated. Y'all know, you've seen me a little bit frustrated. You've seen me a little bit aggravated. I can tell you that those things happen to me as well as to you. But here's the deal. Exercise can help treat the current symptoms that we have. If you wake up in the morning and you just feel depressed, you just got a deep, abiding sadness that's going on with you. You need to take off running. You need to get some exercise that's going to get your heart rate beating. This morning, I got my heart rate beating, just working my stomach. And so as my heart rate got up, and once I got through with my routine that I do, you leaving us? Where you going? You want to wait till the break time? We don't go to the restroom during group. We're in group. You think you can hold it? If you can't hold it, go ahead.
That's why I know.
Yeah, go ahead. But we go to the restroom at breaks and before group.
Okay.
So don't when you're going to leave, let us know you're leaving. Okay. This is a formal group. All right. So here's the deal. Exercise can help with current symptoms. If something's going on with me, if I'm depressed right now, if I'm anxious right now, if I'm afraid right now, any of those things that's going on with us, we can treat those things right now, right? This helps us. Exercise will help treat those things. And also what exercise does, and this is very important, exercise will help us with future episodes. It slows down the future episode. So that's a good thing, right? We need to know that. So if I'm exercising not just to make myself feel better right now, but to help treat mental illnesses. That's a big deal.
Triggers?
Yeah, it will help with all those triggers and stuff.
Gym.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, sir. Absolutely, it will help with if you're at a place where you're getting triggered or something like that. Like he said, you go to the gym, you start working out, and that will help you. It's going to help defeat those triggers. Some of the mental illnesses, these problems, exercise can help with. Some of the mental illnesses is depression. We talked about that a little bit. Just getting the endorphins moving. The endorphins release what? Dopamine into your system and allows you to get a little high from the act of working out, and that will calm yourself down. That's going to help you a whole lot in that situation. It can also remove anxiety or lessen anxiety. And if you're really anxious, anybody get anxious? I get anxious from time to time. But when you get anxious, if you do a little bit of exercise, it's going to lower the anxiety, and it's going to help that not be as bad as it can get. It also, exercise can help us get away from substance abuse. We want to use, and like he was saying, exercise can help us overcome triggers. It releases our body's own natural endorphins into our system. And what do your endorphins do? Your endorphins are an opioid, and they get you to that place of just a little bit of a high. And so when we do that, when we get those opioids to dump into our system, we feel better. We get a little bit high about it. And when it's all over with, it makes us feel better. And so what I'm looking for is a mood altering drug. And I have my own mood altering drug within myself. And so when I work out, and when I do exercise of any kind, it introduces those endorphins into our body, and we feel better. And so we need to go and do that before we use it. Before we use a drug or something, we can use our own personal drug that's inside of us. Anybody know what bulimia is?
Isn't that when you it has to do with your heart, right?
It's an eating disorder.
It's an eating disorder. So what is it specifically?
When you overeat or something, purge. You overeat and you purge.
Yeah, it's purging and all of that stuff. That's what it is. Let's see what they say here. It's an eating disorder characterized by regular, often secretive bouts of overeating. You go hide somewhere and eat as much as you can, followed by self-induced vomiting or purging, strict dieting, extreme exercise associated with persistent and excessive concern with body weight. Yes, sir.
I didn't want to ask a question. That happens a lot. Runway models and stuff, and everyone models.
Yeah.
What they call it. It's another terminology they use for it.
Anorexia.
Anorexia.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who have anorexia, and they feel like they're overweight all of the time and they're not eating anything and all of this kind of stuff, and they eat like a hummingbird. And bulimia, believe it or not, if you're suffering from bulimia, you're doing this kind of crazy stuff, eating too much and purging, exercise can help you get beyond that. Exercise can help you, like again, when your endorphins get into your bloodstream and stuff like that, it can halt those desires to do that and help that. It's also been proven that exercise helps with Alzheimer's disease. Isn't that an amazing thing? Alzheimer's is a horrific thing. I'm a pastor as well as doing this, and I have a lady in our church who has Alzheimer's, and it's just a horrific disease. When I get there and I go visit with her, I'm going to do that this Saturday. When I go visit with she and her husband, and I knock on the door, when she comes to she doesn't come, but when he comes to the door with her on his arm, she has no idea who I am. And so he'll introduce me to her as her pastor and stuff, and then she'll go sit in the living room, and I'll go sit at the chair next to her, and she'll be looking over this way, and when she looks back at me, she'll ask me who I am. Yeah, who are you? How'd you get my house? What are you doing here?
After you just met her?
Say it again? After I just met her. It probably takes her 3, maybe 4 minutes to completely forget who I am. And she'll be looking, and she'll look at me, and you can see that vacant look, like that's a real sad disease. Exercise will help with that. It helps in 2 ways. First off, it helps to it helps to keep it from happening. If we exercise, get our heart rate up and let our heart rate go back down several times a day, it can stop it, or at least put it off for a whole bunch of years. They're coming up with some more medication that's working miracles with that stuff as well. But if I can do something by talk therapy instead of medication, that's the way I want to do it. If I can do something by exercising instead of medication, that's the way I want to do it. Because that's a God-given way to do it. That's the way we should be doing it. So it can help with that. It does it, and once you've got it, once it's in your, it gets worse and worse. When I first met this lady about 3 years ago, she was still playing the piano in our church. She could play like a ringing a bell. I mean, just wonderful. And then at some point, she'd be playing the piano, and she would change the song in the middle of the song. You're singing the old rugged cross, and then right in the middle of it, she flips over to Just As I Am. And everybody's going, wait a minute. It finally got to the point where she couldn't play that thing anymore. And now I doubt she even knows what a piano is. So it progressed. But here's the deal. And she doesn't exercise at all. It's all that she can do. She's in her 70s somewhere, but it's all that she can do is to get out of the chair. So she doesn't do any exercise at all. But some exercise at some point would help her immensely. But at this point, I think it may be a bit too late for her. There are some other things that's not quite as descriptive as those things. Those things, we know what depressive anxiety and all of it, we know what those are. There's some other things that exercise can help with. I have an anger group that I do, and we also talk to people about sleep disorders, stuff like that. Most of the people who are in early recovery have sleep issues. We have funny dreams. They're real, they're real active, and they're real like bunch of what colors and all of that kind of stuff. They're real vivid and stuff like that. So we have some problems sleeping. So exercise will help you with sleep, not just by the act of tiring you out. You back there, Mr. Byron? You brought my fella back?
I didn't see him. He said it was the same you heard.
Yeah, I talked to him. He said he was going to be there waiting on you. So
I passed by you. I got some more.
okay,
I tried one more time.
okay. So it's going to help you with those sleep disorders. Sometimes if you exercise hard enough, it'll get you to the place where you are tired out. But it doesn't have to do that. The release of those endorphins will also calm you down, and they will help you to get your mind to a good place and all of that stuff. And also, one of the other things that exercise does is activate the melatonin in your body. Everybody's taking melatonin to try to sleep, but you do know that your body naturally secretes melatonin, right? It puts melatonin in when it's time for you to go to sleep, about 10, 15 minutes before it's time to go to sleep, your body shoots melatonin into your bloodstream to help you get ready, help you get drowsy, and help you get ready to go to sleep. Exercise activates the melatonin a little bit quicker. So if you got it, so it will help you go to sleep a little bit better. It's also going to help you with stress. We all have a little bit of stress in our life, and I will guarantee you, if you go, I read a thing not too long ago that said that if you exercise, while you're exercising, that's a good time to think about other stuff. Get some real quality thoughts. That's not true. That's a goofy thing. When you're exercising, you can't do anything but think about the exercise. Now, I want to point this out to you. Y'all see the guy running down the road? Yeah, there you go. He's a big man, and he's in good shape. And he ran by earlier, running back. Yeah, so that's very, very, very good for him. He's in good shape. So it's going to help you with stress. When that stress comes, here's the deal. Exercise will do two things. Again, first off, if you're exercising every day doing something, you're going to be less stressed. Stress is not going to attack you as much because you're in good shape. Just getting yourself in good shape is going to help you so much you will never imagine how much different your life's going to be when you lose the excess pounds or you gain some weight if you need to gain some weight and you're exercising on a daily basis. Your life's going to morph into something that you really didn't know it was going to do. And it's going to take that stress down. First off, it's going to keep it from coming. But then if something stressful happens in your life and you go exercise, that's going to lower that stress level. So that's going to help you a whole bunch. Secondly, physical health. It's you are going to be on every level. Physically, you're going to be in better health. And you're going to feel 100% better if you exercise. It's going to help you feel 100% better. So it's also going to help with your low energy. I have people tell me all the time, my wife being one of them, I don't have enough energy to exercise. What? You have low energy because you don't exercise. You have low energy because you don't do anything. This is the reason for low energy. But if we get to exercising, we begin to do the things that we need to do to get ourselves into better physical health, you are going to get more energy. That energy level will go up, and once the energy level goes up, what do? More of everything. You can go do more exercise, and that's going to stand up to your triggers, and that's going to help you with all of those stress level and the depression and all of those kinds of things. So it's good to do that. And here's the last thing is self-esteem. If you look good, you feel good about yourself. One of the things I tell people in our groups over there is part of the treatment plan. When we put everybody on a treatment plan that is an anger treatment plan, and we put everybody on the same treatment plan to start with until we can see where they are. And one of the things we do is put them on an exercise plan. They need to go exercise. And so we'll give them some stuff, and they have to prove that they're exercising. A lot of the guys in our group, they lose weight, they feel better, everything, and it actually helps them deal with their anger. So one of the things that we have them do first is get naked and look in the mirror, get a full-size mirror, and look at themselves in the mirror. See what parts of me that I don't like. Now look, we don't have a full-length mirror in my facility for them to look at. They have to look at themselves in their own full-length mirror at their house. I don't want anybody getting naked at my facility. We don't want that happening. So you go home and you go down there to Walmart and get you a full-length mirror for $12. Put that thing up, and then, take all your clothes off and just take a good look. Get you one of those hand mirrors, look at your back and all of that stuff. You see those rolls of fats and stuff like that. Those might not be they may not lift your self-esteem to a place where you want it to be. So we start working on something that will. I'm going to tell you something. This is a secret. This part here is free, but this is off of our anger management program that we do. If your self-esteem goes up, your need for anger goes down. As your self-esteem goes up, your need for anger goes down. Isn't that amazing? If I feel good about myself, I can let you be an idiot if you want to be.
Amen.
So if somebody comes up and says something to me that I don't like and I start getting angry and stuff about that, one of the first things that we look for is, how come you got such a low self-esteem? So, here's the deal. We need to understand too that this doesn't have. You don't need to start out trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, you don't need to do that. He don't look all that good nowadays anyway. But you don't need You don't need to try to be like he was when he was in his prime, right? I mean, he was awesome. That dude was awesome. They called him the Oak. We don't all need to be the Oak, right? Okay, he was great, he was fine, all of that kind of stuff. But we need to be who we are, and we may not be the oak, but maybe we can be a sapling, right? Maybe we can be a potted plant. Maybe we can be something, So here's the deal: beginning the exercise plan doesn't have to be all that difficult. I'm not going on the bodybuilding circuit. Well, I might, but not now. Not right now. So walking for as little as 30 minutes. Now, I told y'all earlier, my wife is walking back and forth. We have a very large living room. It's 33 feet long. Okay? So she walks. It's about like this, and she walks 8 times. For her, that's a long time. That's a long time. But for us, most of us in here are not in that bad a shape, and we can walk for 30 minutes. Just start walking for 30 minutes. And like the ladies at North walk around the facility. And that's a good place to start, isn't it? There's some nice trees over there. There's some nice scenery. And as you go down the back, there's some nice dogs over there that will talk to you as you walk by, like, I'm going to eat you and stuff like that, you know. But it's something to do. Get started low. So you can start walking for 30 minutes 3 times a week, right? Go walking 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week, and look, that's been found to be beneficial. Here's the thing that I will tell you. It doesn't make any difference. What if you can't walk 3 times a week? What if you walk 30 minutes a day once a week? Is that helpful? That's exactly the way to say that. It's better than nothing. Do something. Do something. Whatever you do is going to be better than what we're doing now. If we're doing nothing. Now, I do know there's some people. I see the guys in here, some of the guys in here are, exercise just about every day, and I'm really enthused about that. Some of the ladies, I know you exercise, but if you're not doing any exercise at all, just doing something will help. So get out and do something. And don't worry too much about what exercise you choose. Now, I do specific exercises when I go. I don't go on Monday most of the time because that's my day off, not from here, but day off from the church, so they don't call me and stuff there on Mondays because, I'm off that day. I usually go on the mornings on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, or Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Fridays. So I'll be going tomorrow morning, but I'll work my chest one day and my back another day and my arms the next day. So I just, do that. But really, if we're not doing any exercise at all, doesn't make any difference what you do, doesn't make any difference what exercise you're doing. It can be low impact. We can walk, we can trot, we can do some push-ups, we can do some whatever floats your boat, you can do it, and it's going to be helpful to you. There's some different exercises. Don't worry about which one you do. Aerobic and anaerobic exercises are both effective for improving both physical and mental health. What's aerobic exercise? What is it?
Like step ups, side step. Like
okay, step ups,
like
running, stuff like that. So aerobic exercises are like you were saying, walking is aerobic, jogging, biking, those elliptical things. I have a friend, he weighed well over 300 pounds and he's now down to normal weight. And that's what he does is the elliptical thing. In the morning at 5:30, he'll get on that elliptical chair thing. And man, after I finish my stuff and I'm gone, he's still there. So he's lost 200 something pounds. Ski machines, swimming, dancing. All of that. I try to dance, but it's just for exercise. So all of that's good. Anaerobic exercise is other things. I do a lot of that, like weightlifting. I lift weights 3 times a week, usually. There's sometimes I miss it. Say it again?
Jumping jacks.
Jumping jack. I have done those, but I did so many of those in the United States Army, I got wore out on them. Skipping rope is good for you. That's all aerobic. Say it again?
Cardio.
Yeah, that's cardio stuff, and that's all good for you. That gets your heart rate up and gets your heart rate down. We have a big old deal on the wall over there, like that thing, that tells you at what age you should try to get your heart rate up and how long it should stay if you're in shape. So I'm within that, so I'm in pretty good shape for that part of it. If you're crunched for time, you don't have a whole lot of time, and how many people have a bunch of time? I'm crunched for time every time I go to the gym. It's an hour from my gym to the office. So I have to get out of there and go. So I get there at 5:30. Sometimes I'm out of there by 6. But the secret is to do some intense exercise and then don't fool with it again for a week or so and your muscles will grow. That's what that's about. Sometimes I stay an hour, but yesterday I stayed about 30 minutes. If you're crunched for time, you might still be able to squeeze in some exercise into your day. Two 15-minute walks is just as well as one 30-minute walk, right? Yeah. So, and it's according to what you want to do. Here we're just trying to get into shape, trying to get our mental health into a better place, trying to get our physical health into a better place. So there's some tips to help us get to get into some type of exercise. We don't get to do it here, but once you get back to the house and you need to make a phone call, these things these are horrible. I wish they'd have never come up with this junk. This is terrible, nasty, ugly, stupid junk. But if you got to make a phone call, take that thing and walk and talk, right? And if you got a phone, how many people have a phone that that you can put a speaker on? Always use the speaker. Don't ever hold it to your head. It causes brain cancer, all kind of crazy stuff. So use the speaker. But walk and talk with them. If you got something you got to talk to somebody about, you can walk and talk, and that'll give you an opportunity to get a little bit of exercise in as you're finishing your conversation. That's a good thing to do. Get somebody to do it with you. Now, I don't have a partner right now. I have had a partner in the past, and it was much easier with a partner. Somebody to hold you accountable. Somebody to say, hey, we're going to be here at the gym at 5:30. I'll see you at the gym at 5:30. And they are there to help you stay accountable to that so that you'll continue to do it. Or look, we're going to walk around this building together. Come on. Let's do that. And I see that happening at North. Instead of walking around the building, I've seen some ladies. I saw one lady walking up and down the parking lot. Good sized parking lot. She walked from one end of the parking lot to the other, back to the other, back to the other. And then I went by the other day and there's two people. Then I went by and there's three people walking back and forth. So it's catching. We'll do it, other people will get there with us. And so just get a partner to help you be accountable for that. And this is something that I do. If my wife's with me, I can't. I have to park as close to the door as I can. She has the placard on her front of her on her driver's license for being disabled, and so she'll get way up there at those parts as far as she can. But I'll park at the end of the parking lot. If you go to Walmart or something like that, you can park half a mile away. And so you get way out there and you walk in and out. And that's a really good way to get some added exercise. And you get to go do whatever you want to do at the store. I try my level best not to go to Walmart. Walmart's not my favorite store. But whatever store I go to, park at the end of the parking lot and go in there. And that'll just give you a little bit of exercise. Here's the thing, too. I started working out with weights and stuff when I was in my early 20s. And when I got back from the United States military, there for about a minute, I didn't have much to do, so I started working out. And I've been working out all of that for all of those years, 50 some odd years. I've been working out with weights and stuff. And the point is, I enjoy that. I like doing it. Makes me feel good. It feels good to do it, and when you can go up a little bit, it's progressive, and it makes you feel good to be able to progress. But find something that you enjoy doing. If you enjoy it, it's not so much of a chore, right? It's not so much of a work. It's not something I have to go do. It's something I get to go do. I get up in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to my gym because I enjoy doing that. I like the people who are there. We have a bunch of us have similar, enjoyments, similar ideas, and all of that stuff. And so we have a good time while we're there. So I just enjoy doing that. If it wasn't good for me at all, I'd still enjoy it. I'd still do it because I just enjoy doing it. But look, I did a study the other day on, because I'm going to be 72 my next birthday. So I did a study on is it good for older people to lift weights? What do you think they said? Absolutely. Absolutely. Older people should be lifting weights. I watched too, if you go on Google, if you get a chance, you go on Google and look at the weightlifting competitions. Look at the ones for people over 70. Look at the ones for people over 80. There's 90-year-old men who are on the circuit that are winning prizes because of their physique. Isn't that wild? And that's amazing. Somebody nearly 100 years old is, yeah, all right. I mean, they don't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but they're looking great and they're in good shape and all of that kind of stuff. So do something that you like. Here's the other thing. I found a battery the other day that was laying in the middle of the road, and it was for the Beaumont EMT people. So I took it to them, and I asked the guy when I walked in. There's a guy met me there, and I said, "Where's the office?" And he said, "It's upstairs on the second floor. The elevator's right there, or the stairs are right there." So which one did I take? Stairs. I went up the stairs. Anytime I can go up the stairs instead of taking the elevator, I'm going to do that. What do you exercise if you use the elevator? Your finger to push the button. Then you get in there with all the other people who are, look, you can see the office right there. It's steps go this way and steps go that way, and you're at the second floor, right? So people go get in the elevator and go up to the second floor. So I always take the stairs, and that may not save my life, that may not extend my life, but it's going to help. It's one more little thing going up the steps. Say it again? Yes, it will keep your blood circulating, and I go to my endocrinologist, which is right over here somewhere, and she's on the 5th floor. I take the elevator. I take the elevator. No, I haven't yet, but that's a good idea. But I take the elevator to go up there. But usually I go there, they take my blood and everything, and I'm fasting, and I haven't had anything to eat and all of that kind of stuff. I'm already weak. They'd find me dead on the stairs somewhere. So, skip the elevator, take the stairs. And one other thing, and I do this, not as much as I'd like to, because I have to go from here to north and back and forth to do my notes and all of that kind of stuff, so it's kind of hard for me. We clock out for lunch at about 12 o'clock until 1 o'clock, but when you have a lunchtime like that, head outside. I see so many people go sit in their offices, and that's what they do. They just sit in their offices. And sitting in your office is a real privilege, isn't it? That's okay. It's a good thing to be able to go sit in your office and be in a quiet place for a couple of minutes. That's good. I enjoy doing that. I'm glad to have a place here where I can go close the door, turn the lights off, and I ain't home. Right? If I need to do that in my lunchtime, that's my lunch. That's my time, so I can do that. Yeah. And every now and then you do that. But here's the other thing that you need to do every now and then, walk outside. It's lunchtime, you got an hour for lunch, take 10 minutes, take 15 minutes, take 20 minutes, whatever it is you feel like you can do, and then walk outside and walk around. Look at the stuff out there. One of the things I really am doing, I love to do, is I do that early in the morning. If you go outside, usually I leave my house about 4:45. To get to the gym. But if you go outside and you look up at 4:45 in the morning, what do you see? If it's a clear day like today is, you see the glory of God. That stars, I saw the Big Dipper this morning. I saw Leo. I saw all kinds of stuff this morning. And it's just so fantastic. The other day, about a month ago, I saw about 10 or 12 lights in the sky that just went by. They were in perfect unison and they went by. Now, I'm convinced that was people from Venus. There's a lady over at North that told me that was Elon Musk, something or another up there. She's trying to destroy my faith in Martian. Yeah, no, that was Venetians or something. And I'm convinced of that. But it's an amazing thing what you can see if you go outside for just a few minutes. If you go outside the back door here and you walk around out there, what are you liable to see? Squirrels. There's squirrels all over there. Tree rats, and they're fun to watch sometimes. At my home, we live out in the country a little bit. There's rabbits out there, man, that big. Maybe not that big, but there's rabbits out there at any rate. And they're hopping around and running and all that kind of stuff. There's two of them that are kind of together all the time. And it's just good stuff. It's interesting to watch. The other thing that you can see when you get out here is a whole bunch of us out there smoking cigarettes. Yeah. So you can watch them smoke and cough and hack and puke. And that's probably not good for you. Just bring that revelation to you. So look, there's a way for us to get that strategy going so that we can get something happening. So we need to figure out what times or what days of the week we can find time to exercise. How do you manage to get that done?
You have to wake up early.
You have to wake up early, but you also have to put that in your schedule. Yeah.
Agenda.
An agenda. We have to have an agenda. My agenda is to get in better shape. My schedule is something that I am going to force upon myself. Get a hold of that terminology. I'm going to force it upon myself. I have people tell me I can't do that. I can't force look. We eat every day, don't we?
Yeah.
So we put that in our schedule. We force that. We're going to have that. We're going to take a time to eat something, usually in the morning, in the middle of the day, and in the evening. We're going to eat something. No matter what else is going on, I'm going to get something to eat. If I put it in my agenda, hey, here's the deal. I'm going to put exercising on my schedule, and that's usually the easiest thing for me to throw off my schedule. Somebody comes up and says, hey, we need to do this. Okay, I can't exercise today. Instead of saying, I can't do that right now, it's time for my exercise.
Right.
I have to force that into my schedule. So pick a day that I can. Look, I've got 3 days picked. I do 3 days. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays. That's usually what's going to happen. Or Tuesdays, sometimes it's Thursdays and Fridays. I leave it that way so that if I wake up and I don't feel like it, that I don't have to. But I got to get 3 days in. You got to get 3 days in because it has been proven that the most beneficial way of exercising is 3 times a week. That's why we keep saying 3 days, 3 times a week. Right? So I picked those days. Mine are Monday, mine are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So the best exercises, activities that you'll genuinely enjoy, I need to figure out. I need to get about 3 of them that I genuinely enjoy. One of the biggest exercises that we had in the United States Army, guess what it was? Now, we did PT every morning. We ran 5 miles. We ran 5 miles every morning. We did PT every morning. But what was the biggest one?
Jump up, reach the sky, and then jump back down.
We did that. What was it? Jumping jacks, we did that. We did all of that kind of stuff. But what we did more than anything else was play basketball. After we had all of that stuff, look, these guys are all in good shape. We're feeling good. We're running 5 miles a day. Can you think about that? Running 5 miles a day. Go do that. If you run 5 miles, I'm going to guarantee you, most people take off out here to head 5 miles. That gentleman that we watched run past us out here, he probably can run 5 miles. But look, I guarantee you, I'm not going to guarantee you, but I bet you there's and not anybody in this room that can catch him. And not anybody can run with him, because back when we were doing it. But here's the deal. We pick three things that we really want to do. We're going to enjoy doing, and we do those three things. Okay? I like to work out with weights, and I like to work out with weight machines. So I do that 3 times a week. Now, also, I don't mind running. I don't do it a lot, but I like walking a lot now that I'm older. So I do a lot of walking. So I'm going to have to, I don't know what the other third one is. I don't have that done yet. So these strategies, what strategies can make sure you remember to exercise? We got 2 minutes. We're going to talk about it. It's easy to put off exercise. Prioritize other things. Simply forget about your plan. So some of the things we need to do to make sure we're going to exercise is exercise with a friend. We've already talked about that. Hold each other accountable. Where are you? You lazy piece of low down, no good for nothing, lower than a snake's belly in a wagon rut piece of slime. Yeah. Secondly, we need to set an alarm to tell us it's time to exercise. Everything that you have, your phone, your watch, everything will give you an alarm. So, it automatically repeats at the same time, so you know it. Get into a routine by exercising the same time every day. Try attaching exercise to a particular part of the day, like walking every evening right after dinner. That's pretty easy for me. My gym opens at what time? Y'all remember? 5:30. It takes me that amount of time. I get up at 4 and I get dressed and everything, and then I go over. But so the time is set for me already. 5:30. I don't have to set that up. Reward yourself for a job well done. When you finish your exercise routine, go eat a donut. Is that right? No. Figure out different ways. Don't eat moon pies. Don't eat donuts. Treat yourself to something you enjoy when you exercise. You have to be honest about it. If you don't exercise that day, don't reward yourself. All right, we're going to go on our break. We'll be back in here about 16 minutes after. Thank you.
What's up, you head out when you get out work?
It's free. I would not. It's free. No, I mean here. Ground cover. Ground cover. That's great. Yeah. There's furniture policy. There's furniture policy.
Where does Mr. Yeoman sit? Yeoman? Terry?
Oh, he,
Thank you.
oh, no. What are you gonna do? I went out, back home. That's not. It makes me thirsty.
That is about first come, first serve.
I drink it. She got to do it. Chuck.
That's the first somebody that wants something.
Some church toast?
Amen. And that's up here, First come, first served.
No, she was saying, call it monkey fly. We're talking about friends. Talking about oh, hang on, I was making. You don't want that? No. I lost that. Good. I got watch. I don't want watch my what? There's one watch my we don't worry about it. We're going to go to lunch. We're going to go to lunch. But no. We're going to go
You wanna wait? Wait. Yeah.
It's 45 minutes. All right, group time, guys. Started again. All right, we're back. It's 15, 16 minutes after. So, we're still talking about exercising and how that's going to help us stay in our recovery and all of that kind of stuff. We went over a whole lot of stuff this morning already, but we're gonna be looking at the stuff from SAMHSA. Everybody know what SAMHSA is? SAMHSA. All right, SAMHSA is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. And I get a lot of material from those guys. And so what we're going to do, we're going to look at real quickly, we only have like 40 minutes to do this, the intersection of physical activity, wellness, and recovery. So again, it's the same thing. It's doing my best to keep exercise in my regimen so that I can use that exercise to help me get into shape, and then that's going to help me in my recovery process. Now, a real quick overview of what we're going to do, and I'm not going to do it very much, but I do want to give it to us. It says supported by both peer-reviewed research and federal health guidelines. That means we've taken a real good close look at this, and it tells us that regular physical activity contributes to improved mental health, reduced rates and recurrences of use, and enhanced physical and psychological well-being. So we're going to look at some of the key things that our exercise can help us do. So, everybody ready for all that? We still are missing a few people out of group. And we need to get to the place, and I know that we do it, and we've done it over at North, but there is a reason for us getting to group on time. That's what we're doing. We're trying to get ourselves to the place where when we get out of here, we can meet our commitments. One of the things that we're committed to here in this facility is coming to group on time. So, going forward, we need to be here on time. Integrating physical activity into recovery from substance abuse, mental health, and co-occurring conditions can yield significant benefits to us. One of the things that it does, and we've already talked about this, which was the major point that we were making at our first part of this group, is it does improve our mental health. I will tell you that I, for one, need my mental health improved. I need to be at a place where I'm not depressed all the time. I'm not anxious all the time. I'm not scared all the time. My mental health is in a better place. So, physical activity significantly reduces symptoms of depression and anxiety. Now, we had a meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials. What's a meta-analysis?
Analysis of a live.
Yeah, lots of it. It's a bunch of lots. That's all meta-analysis means, is that it was not just one study that we looked at. This is an important thing. When you're looking up statistics and stuff like that, it's important to know that there was a meta-analysis done. One analysis can do what? It can show you some important stuff, but it can also be skewed. Because if I do the analysis, what's wrong with one analysis that I've done? It has my biases in it. It has my thoughts and my beliefs in it. And so it doesn't have yours. So here's the deal. If everybody in here looks at the same thing and analyzes the same thing, it suddenly becomes more viable because there's more eyes on it, right? More brains were at the job. More people are taking a look at it. So it's a meta-analysis, and so that's what they've done. A whole bunch of people took a look at this and found that exercise can be as effective. Now, y'all listen, this is really important. Exercise can be as effective as medication in treating mild to moderate depression. That's a big deal. Miss Cynthia, could you do me a favor? I'm missing some guys out of group. Know where they might be? They need to be. I know where they need to be, but I don't know where they are. So think about that. Just going to exercise, doing some physical exercise that lifts my heart rate up for a few minutes can be as effective as the medication that they're giving us when we go to the doctor. Isn't that amazing? To me, and it may not be all that amazing to you, but to me, that's an amazing thing. Like I said earlier, I would prefer to do anything else other than take the medication. And I take a handful of medication every day because of all sorts of weird stuff. You know, I'm taking all of this medication. My goal is to get in such good health through exercise and diet that I don't have to take any medication anymore. Wouldn't that be good? That's going to save me a whole lot of time, save me a whole lot of money, and a whole lot of aggravation. Because every night I have to take all of my medication and put one pile here and one pile here. This bigger pile here is for nighttime. This smaller pile I have to put in another bottle for tomorrow morning. So I take that at night and I take it in the morning, and I'm really through with that. I don't want to be doing that the rest of my life. And also I'm taking insulin, giving myself 1 to sometimes 2 shots a day. And if I'm taking insulin, what can I not do?
Fly your plane.
I can't fly. So I can't fly. So, you know, I want to get rid of that so I can fly. So that's my plan. So I'm working on that. So that's amazing to me that exercise can do the same thing that medication does. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, we talk about those guys all the time, emphasizes that adults should engage in 150, y'all hear that, 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity per week to reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety and improve overall mental health. So that's human health services. That how much is 300 minutes?
5 hours.
What is that?
5 hours.
5 hours. How many minutes in an hour?
60.
60 minutes in an hour.
Yeah, 4.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah, 4.5, 5 hours. So that's a lot of exercise, isn't it? Think about that. They're talking about an hour a day, you know? So, okay. So if you get half of that done, would that be okay? Yeah, if you get 30 minutes, we've been talking about doing 30 minutes a day. If you get 30 minutes a day, that's half of what they recommend. So do 30 minutes. If you can't do 30 minutes a day, do 15 minutes a day. That's a quarter of what they've recommended, but something is better than nothing at anything, right? So we need to be doing that, understanding all of that. It promotes, look, this is really, really important for us. This is why we're talking about this. This is why this is in our book. It promotes substance use recovery. It really helps us in our recovery. I see a lot of people over on Avenue A when we were down there. I saw a lot of guys. We had a lot of workout equipment out in the back. You know, it was old and decrepit and all of that kind of stuff. But I watched those guys every day, man. They worked their butts off out there. And they did it 90% because they were bored. And most of the time when we leave from here, all of that stuff is left over there on Avenue A. We ain't doing that no more. You know, I'm thinking this old piece of junk that we brought up here with the 50 pounds on it, I think they came from Avenue. Yeah, you know, because it's just that all of that stuff was all rusted and nasty and all of that kind of stuff. And we don't need it. We need some new stuff. You know, however, when we stopped doing that, when we left, that doesn't help our recovery. The fact that it helps our recovery, let's read what it says. Physical activity can help manage cravings. Why does it help manage cravings? We talked about that a little bit earlier. It helps manage cravings because it releases our own natural endorphins, which are akin to, just like, opioids. So it's putting into us the natural, normal, and okay drug that our body makes so that we don't want to go do the other one. That's not okay. So it makes it easier for people to sustain their recovery because there's something I can do instead of letting the cravings overtake me. Exercise increases the production of neurotransmitters like dopamine and endorphins, exactly what we just said, which may be depleted during substance use. So that stuff's not in our body at the level that it should be. So when we exercise, our body makes that, and so we're no longer having to crave all of that stuff. Regular physical activity has been shown to lead to lower rates of returning to problematic substance use for people in recovery from substance disorder. So here's the deal. If you exercise, and we already said this, but let's say it again. If you exercise regularly, will that guarantee you won't relapse? No, it's not. But if you exercise regularly, it's going to help you in your pursuit of your recovery. It's going to help. So anything that helps on any level, do it, right? That's what we're going to do. If we're really after our recovery, the way that we're supposed to be, we're going to be going to group. We're going to be going to AA, NA, whatever we need to go to. We're going to be talking to our sponsor because that's what helps. We're going to be hanging out with sober people. We're going to find some sober support people. We're going to be exercising on a daily basis to help us deal with cravings and whatever else. That low self-esteem, look, I know a ton of people that suffer from low self-esteem. I'm one of them. And one of the things we say to ourselves, I might as well. Look, I'm lower than the snake's belly in a wagon rut. Nobody loves me. Everybody hates me. I might as well go eat worms. And while I'm eating worms, I might as well have some cocaine and go with him. I might as well do this. I might as well drink some alcohol. I might as well because, you know, I'm no good, no cap. We need to change that place and bring that place from the bottom where our low self-esteem has got us headed back to the dump where we just got out of and bring that self-esteem up. You know, because I'm going to tell you something. You go look at yourself in the mirror, and what you see in that mirror is a fearfully, wonderfully made individual. You are special, and you are a powerful spiritual individual. And here's the other thing. When I do the exercise every day and I start to feel the effects of the exercise, my body begins to harden up a little bit. My muscles begin just to grow just a little bit. The fat begins to quiver a little bit less and it begins to go away over a period of time. My self-esteem comes up. And I don't have to do some of the things that I used to have to do when I was miserable. When I don't like myself, what will I do? All sorts of things to hide myself. I'll hide myself in drugs and alcohol and all of that kind of stuff because I don't like myself. So what I need to do is begin to do some things that's going to help me like myself. And exercise is one of those things. Look, there's two really simple things that we can do to help us like ourselves. One of them is exercise. The other one is quitting smoking. That's a real big accomplishment. When we get off of tobacco in all of its forms, that's a huge accomplishment, and that'll bring our self-esteem from here to here. When I can tell people I used to be a smoker, that raises that self-esteem, and that's one. It's a real big health thing. The number one killer in the United States is tobacco, but it's still also, it's going to raise my self-esteem. So physical activity can do all of those things. Regular physical activity has been shown to lead to lower rates of returning to problematic substance use for people in recovery from that. Physical activity serves as a healthy coping mechanism from stress and may reduce reliance on substances. I used to look. That was when I had something to cope with. What did I do? I used alcohol to cope with that. That was my main coping skill. Whatever our drug of choice is, that's our main coping skill. That's what we were using to cope with that. So now exercise can replace that as a coping skill. When I need to cope with some stress, instead of using alcohol, cocaine, marijuana, whatever it is, then I can go and work out for 30 minutes and I've dealt with the stress. You can't work out and be stressed. I'll guarantee it. All of that other stuff is going to fly away. When you get back out there, the stressful situation is still there, but you're at a place, the endorphins have come in, you're feeling better, you're in good shape, you can better deal with the stress. You can. It's just a natural thing. Here's something that's important. Of course, all of this is important, but I want y'all to get a hold of this. Exercise, physical activity of any type, enhances cognitive function and well-being. What is cognitive function? Brain function. How about thinking? Cognitive function is thinking. This helps you to think. I don't know if any of you have ever done it, but I've made some poor decisions in my life. Make some poor decisions? I've done that. I've made some poor decisions. So this is going to help me think through things. It's going to help me do that. If I'm in better shape, I'm going to think better about what I'm doing. I'm going to line things out. I'm going to put them in proper perspective, and then I'm going to be able to choose the one that's best for me. Exercise does all of that. It says, look, exercise can improve cognitive functions like memory, helps my memory, my attention, helps my attention. There's some folks in here that need to be helped with their attention. Pay no attention whatsoever. I've seen that. Exercise, executive functions, your mind making decisions. That's executive functioning. This may be particularly beneficial for people who are in or seeking recovery from substance use disorder, as some substances can impair all of those functions. Regular physical activity has also been shown to lower rates of chronic disease, chronic heart disease, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes. It even helps with some cancers. So it's really, look, your body was meant to be exercised. God made you for activity. How do you know that's true? How do you know that you were meant to exercise? If you go work out your biceps, they'll grow. If you go work out your latissimus dorsi, they'll grow. So if that shows us that that was meant to be worked out because they grow. If not, they wouldn't. So that's what we need to get a hold of. We need, if it's going to change when we do something to it, that means that change is natural and supposed to be doing that way. The Natural Institute on Drug Abuse, NIDA, NIDA, supports including physical activity and treatment programs because of the role exercise plays, enhancing brain function, supporting neuroplasticity. What is neuroplasticity? It is crucial for recovery. Neuroplasticity. I'm going to name my next child. Neuroplasticity. What does that mean?
Nerves in your brain.
The nerves in your brain, it means your brain is still viable. It's still plastic. It can still move. And as your brain grows, it will grow and become wrinkled more and more and more, because if you pull your brain out, spread it out, it'll be way like this. So it has a wrinkled vision to it. So it looks like it's all wrinkled up. But on every one of those surfaces, there's a white substance that helps the neurotransmitters to move from one side to the other. Mr. Einstein's brain had about 60% more of that white substance in it. I can't remember what you call the substance now.
Myelin.
What is it?
Myelin.
Myelin? Something like that? Okay, that works. I like that. That works.
Yeah.
But you got more of that, then it runs across. It helps the neurotransmitters to run across the brain in a better way. So your brain needs to have that plasticity. And so this exercise helps that to happen. So if we look at all of the things that are advantageous about the use of exercise, it makes perfect sense for us to exercise. So physical activity can also lead to some social support and community engagement. You're looking up plasticity, or you're looking at, Darnell, you're looking up plasticity?
Oh,
yeah. Did you find it? Yeah, it's not in there yet. So it can be a group activity, physical activity, a whole bunch of people doing the same thing, running together. One of the things that we do in here every now and then, I don't do it, but Miss Charnel does from time to time. She does a mindfulness walk. Y'all have done that? I've seen the guys. I've seen one of the counselors over at North do a mindfulness walk. Yeah. And she'll take off and walk you around the block and stuff, and we get that's a physical activity with a group of people. That's a social activity, and so it helps us with our social activity. And here's the thing: as addicts, people trying to get into recovery, we need to be building some sober social activities, because we don't have a lot of that, and we're not really good at that, because addicts, our activities usually by ourselves. We do sometimes drink, we do sometimes use stuff with other people, but we become alone pretty quick. In our addiction, we become pretty alone. We need to be at a place where we can get our
we get along because we get tired of somebody who ain't got five on, so we just don't have to hold down.
Right. So such as team sports, exercise classes, these foster social connections, build supportive networks that are critical for sustaining our recovery, achieving fitness goals through physical activity, boost our self-esteem, self-efficacy. What does self-efficacy mean? Self-efficacy. That's a good word. I like that word. I'm going to name my second child efficacy.
Self-confidence, building something.
Yeah, my ability to do stuff. Self-efficacy. Yes, I can do that. Yes, I have confidence. It's going to build my confidence in the fact that I can do it. My boss, I love him. He's really good. He'll challenge you every 5 minutes. You think you can do that, Doc? Yes. Never heard of it before, never seen it before, don't know what it is, but yes, I can do it. If there's anybody on the face of this here earth that can do it, I can do it. I may not do it well right off the bat, but I can do it.
Can I ask you something?
Yes, sir.
Is that a word?
Say it to me again.
That last word you said.
Self-efficacy. What about it? So it's a weird word. First time hearing it? Yeah, self-efficacy just means I believe in myself. I can do it. And EFFICACY. Self-efficacy. Can I do that? Yes, I can. Let me look up that word real quickly. And get the right definitions. And this works for me too. The ability to produce or a desired or intended result. I can produce, or I have the ability to produce a desired or intended result. What's the desired or intended result that we're trying to be self-efficacious about?
To succeed.
To be in recovery. Stay in recovery. Get an exercise plan going. So I'm self-efficacious on that. I have self-efficacy in that area. So that's a good word. Good to know. Which are essential. These are essential for long-term recovery from mental health and substance use conditions. Here's the deal. I used to have, and I'm going to get me another and put it in my office, but I used to have a sign that says, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. You get it? If I think I can do it, I can do it. And if I don't think I can, then I can't. You can talk yourself into anything or out of anything. Yes, sir, I can do that. I know I can, right? Or if I can, I can. But here's the deal. Very few things, if you put your mind to it, that you can. So, all right then. Here's the deal. Achieving fitness goals. What are your fitness goals? Yeah, I have some fitness goals. I'm getting a little bit older. I want to be in good shape. I want to stay in good shape. I've never really had a six-pack. I've had a flat stomach. It's still not too big, but I've had a flat stomach. But I've never really had a six-pack. So I'm working on that. I want a six-pack. When I get that thing, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, look, y'all. No, I'm not. They won't let me do that. But,
Can't no good.
Say it again.
Can't no good.
Can't never good. That's exactly right. Can't never did do nothing. That's right. I'm working on that. I'm doing. There you go. Well, you don't need a six-pack. Yeah, you don't need a six-pack, dude. You got a keg.
I swear that.
Yeah, I used back in the day, I used to try to be a bodybuilder back in the 80s, and I had a good flat stomach, but it never did get to the ripple place that I wanted it to be. It never did. And that was that and my legs was what kept me from being another Arnold Schwarzenegger. So so that's going to help us do those things. Staying in, using exercise as a way to stay in recovery is a very intelligent thing to do. It's just like, hey, if I want to get in a really good shape, one of the best things in the world is get off of tobacco. That's a real smart thing to do. The Surgeon General said 95% of our medical issues would go away overnight if we just got rid of tobacco. 95%, and it's something that is simply done. Easily done. Exercise is a little harder to do. We got to get up and do something, but it is not that hard to do. We just have to get motivated to go do something. and it's going to work out for them. So it's also helpful with management of co-occurring conditions. What's a co-occurring condition, you think?
Reoccur.
Not reoccurring.
It occurs at the same
Reoccurring means it's happening
time.
again.
About to happen.
What is it?
It occurs at the same time.
Co-occurring, occurring at the same time. When we're in recovery like this, it means I have two different conditions. You know, I have schizophrenia, and I also have addiction to a drug or alcohol.
We would say two members.
Two medical issues, right?
Co-occurring.
Co-occurring, and one of them has to be alcohol or drug addiction, and then the other can be whatever, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, whatever. That means I have two different disorders, and they are occurring at the same time, so they're co-occurring. It can't be if I'm bipolar and schizophrenia. That doesn't mean I'm co-occurring. That means I have these two different mental disorders. But it doesn't mean I'm co-occurring. If I have either one of those and something to do with substance abuse, then that's co-occurring. But one of them has to be that for it to be diagnosed as co-occurring. So, this exercise helps with co-occurring disorder. How can exercise help? Physical activity provides significant benefits with people with co-occurring mental health and substance use disorders by improving both physical and mental health. I can do I can do everything better if I'm physically fit. I can do everything better. I can do recovery better. I can do life better. I can do everything better if I'm physically fit. If I'm out of shape, I'm not going to do anything as well as I could have. So, this also, data suggests the integration of physical activity into clinical treatment for people with co-occurring conditions results in better outcomes. Not a complete, total, utter cure. If it was a complete, total, utter cure, then that's all we'd be doing. We wouldn't be doing the talk therapy like we're doing now. We'd be running around the building, right? Because that's the cure. So it's not a total, utter cure, but it gives us better outcomes. If you're in better shape, you can deal with it better, right? All right. So there's some practical recommendations that SAMHSA gives us, and we want to look at some of the recommendations that they give us. And remember that SAMHSA is a good place to go for any of this. This is a Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration. So these are the people that know what they're talking about. Following recommendations are for the practical inclusion of physical activity for those who are in or may be seeking recovery from challenges related to mental health, substance abuse, or co-occurring disorders. Wake him up. Wake him up before he falls out of his chair. Wake up. Wake up. I apologize, but this is a non-sleeping group. We have non-sleeping groups. Thank you. So here's the deal. We want you to start gradually. Don't take off and try to be Arnold. Start gradually. Just means start slowly. Just get up and walk around just a little bit until you get better at that. You get to where you're feeling good at that. Somebody was talking about running 5 or 10 miles today. Don't do that. Don't run 5 miles. Work up to that. One day, if you're running 5 miles like the gentleman who was out here, that's a great thing. That's a great goal to have. Say, I'm going to run 5 miles a day. Don't do it today. Start out by just walking around the place here a little bit. I have a friend who has a problem with her knee, and she's got one of those things you can lean on. She bought her one about 10 years ago that you could lean on, and she's a little bit heavy. So she said, well, what I'm going to do is use this thing until I can lose enough weight to have the surgery. Because, they won't replace your knee if you're fat. So she said, I'm going to lose the weight, so I'm going to use this thing until I can do that. That's about 10 years ago. She's got a different one now, and she's gained about 50 more pounds. And so you think she's ever going to be able to get her knees done?
Oh.
Well, of course not. She's not ever going to be able to do that. She doesn't do any exercise at all. And so that's, she needs to stop eating. And
she's exercising.
Yeah, she's exercising. She's doing that. So start gradually. Begin with low intensity exercises and gradually increase intensity and duration to ensure long-term adherence. What that means is, look, start out slowly, because if you start out really big, you're not going to keep doing it.
Stretch the body out.
It's going to stress you out, stress your body out, break something, hurt something, and you're not going to be doing it. I've told this story before, but let me tell you again. I had a deacon in the church. He's a young man, and he was about this big. He was tall. He was big. And he wanted to go out and work out with me. So I said, okay. So we were over there doing bench presses and stuff, and he didn't want to do that. He didn't think he could do that. So he found a calf machine. You know what a calf machine is? Put it on your shoulder, and you do like this. And he put a couple of 100 pounds on there, and it wasn't anything to it. So he wound up, he probably had 800 pounds on that thing. And I went and told him, I said, dude, you need to calm down. You don't need to do weight bunch. You got so much weight on there. And I said, oh, I got you. So, I'm over there. We did about a 2-hour workout that day. And that whole 2 hours, he's on that machine. Yeah, okay. When he got off of it, couldn't walk too well. Yeah. So he went on back home, and I didn't see him. That was a Saturday. I didn't see him at church. He and his wife didn't make it. I said, okay. Yeah. His wife called me about 3 days later. She was hot as a wet set hen. Yeah, what I did to her. She said he hadn't even been able to go to work. His legs are so sore. He can't move. So I said, look, I tried to, yes, he did. I tried to tell him, so we don't want to do like that. We don't want to go and try to be at 100% because we're not there. We need to start at 10%. And one day we'll be at 100%. One day we'll be running past that old boy that was running up down the road here because he was just kind of jogging. We're going to run past him, leave him in the dirt. But we can't do that today. We'll be able to do that in a couple of months, but we need to know, hey, we have our limitations, and we need to stay within those limitations and increase those limitations as days go by, right? So, and it wasn't good for him because I almost guarantee, I don't know, but I don't think that man exercised a day in his life past that. That was it for him, He never went back with me, I'll tell you that. So start gradually. Incorporate variety. Well, why should we? That means let's do a little something different. And that's when I went yesterday to the gym, it was chest day. And I went in, I have this machine that I work on. I like to go over there and go up to about 200, 250 pounds and then drop off of that and then go to the weights and do some flies and stuff, And there was a guy on there. There's a guy at my gym. He's totally out of shape. He's got a stomach out to here. But he's there every day. And he'll just get in the way. He'll get on the machine and go and lift up 8 pounds 3 times and do nothing. And then he'll go and get on the leg machine and not put any weight on it at all. Just lift the thing up. Okay. And he's just doing nothing, but he's in the way. And in my addiction, I want to go tell him, look, you're in the stinking way. But he's doing something. He ain't doing much, but he's doing something. And so I leave him alone.
All I want to say, once upon a time, we all been in that position.
Yeah. Absolutely. I have a friend over there. His name's Joe. Like I told y'all earlier, Joe lost like 250 pounds. He was a truck driver, and he was a truck driver forever. And so he's done lost all that weight. So this guy may get there too. So I'm not going to yell at him, but he was on my machine. Right? So I had to go and do the flies and stuff first. And I was able to start with a whole lot heavier flies and all of that kind of stuff because I hadn't done that. And then I came down. So just do something different. And the reason I want to do something a little bit different is why? I don't want to get bored. You know, you can get bored doing the same thing. And besides that, your muscles will get bored too. And they won't do, you know, they don't want to do the same thing either. They won't grow with it. Say it again?
Both have the light days and heavy days.
Yeah, light days and heavy days, stuff like that. So here's the deal. Incorporate variety, a combination of aerobic strength and flexibility exercises can maintain interest and maximize benefits. So we're going to do some this day and some that day. And we're going to do some heavy work this day and some lighter work that day. And someday we're just going to go in there and not have a plan. Every day I've gone in, I've had a plan. But sometimes I go in with no plan. Whatever strikes my fancy that day, I'm going to do that. And that just surprises your muscles and helps you stay interested in what's going on. So we need to do some of that stuff as well. So we also need to focus on what? Enjoyment. We need to enjoy this. You know, if I'm going to do something, if I want to exercise, I'm going to focus on enjoyment. You know, I'm going to be walking. When I'm walking, I'm going to enjoy the fact that I'm walking. I enjoy the fact that I'm getting better. I'm enjoying the fact that this is going to help my recovery. I'm enjoying the fact that when I get through, I'm going to look a lot better. Not today. Today, I'm just going to be a little tired. And when I get up in the morning, I may be a little sore. But look, a year from now, if I continue doing a little something and increasing that little something on a daily or weekly basis, a year from now, I'm going to be in a whole lot better shape than I am now. But like you said, Mr. Robert, it's got to start somewhere. Everybody starts at the same place. Everybody starts here. But not everybody makes it up there, but a lot of people. A lot of people do. And that's what we want to do. Choosing enjoyable activities increases my motivation. If I like doing it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do more of the things I like doing than the things I do because I absolutely have to. And the likelihood of maintaining an active lifestyle. I need to be doing something I enjoy doing. Find something that you really want and go do it. Here's one of the big things. Now, I will tell you this. You can walk around a little bit without doing this, but before you get into anything heavy, you need to go and talk to your doctor. If you have any concerns before starting or doing physical exercises, including those related to other health problems, symptoms, talk to your doctor. It's probably, yes, sir.
All right, I mean,
No, you're right.
But I was going to say, I just want to add just to it. Before you do exercise, you need to do a little stretching.
Yeah.
You know, and then once you complete the exercise, that's a good time to walk. You know, if you're inside of a gym or something, walk, 4 or 5 laps around in order for you to cool down.
He was talking about doing some stretching before you exercise and some cool down after you exercise. I try to do that.
Stretch.
Say it again?
I heard the best way to stretch is through cardio stretches, like jumping jacks, like things that are going to warm your body up and keep your body flowing.
Yeah.
Because it warms your body up versus if you just go start to this, you have a higher risk of pulling something versus if you're just doing jumping jacks and doing your arms, swinging your arms and stuff like that. To warm up your body, then you go.
Yeah, I would say that whatever works better for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm in the practice. You say you safety man in the rank. For you in practice stuff, that safety man, that's going to be your first meeting. You want to talk about you. And that's what you want to do. You want to do it's, you know, then you go jumping jacks, bungee squats, that's what you do.
Right. We go talk to him. You know, there was a time, probably 6 or, I don't know, if 5 years ago, maybe. I wasn't feeling really good, and they had a thing down here in Beaumont where you could go and they would do this calcium chest. It's a full body calcium test, costs $100. And so I just felt like God would have me go do that. And so I went and did it. And they tell you they'll send you a page that gives you a number. And if your number is near 500, go see your doctor. So my number was like 940. So I went to see my doctor. I said, "Hey," and she immediately sent me to see a heart guy. And I had blockages in one of my arteries that went to the heart. And they put 3 stents in my heart. And that's why it's important for you to find those things out. Because if I'd have been heavily working out, then I could have died from that. I could have had a heart attack and died. Not too long ago, I had a friend of mine, 51 years old, who passed away. And they didn't know why. They still haven't told us exactly why. But they found him in his apartment, and he was a black belt in something or another, and he was just one of these really bad, he was not, but all of his weight equipment was around him. So he could have probably was working out and something broke, and so we need to know those things before we do anything. So real quickly, data suggests that physical activity can play an important role throughout your recovery and your wellness journey. We know that it's going to do all of these things for us. If it will do all of this stuff for us, why would not we do it? Cognitive imbalance, which means we're not smart enough to do it, or laziness, or just stuck where we are. Move something. All right, thank you, ladies.